Hello, hello. Welcome to day one of our Simplify to Scale. Today is specifically about mapping your money. Now, we're doing this within the Business Growth Lab. So if you've not joined the Business Growth Lab, just type Business Growth Lab below and we'll get you the link to the Facebook community. We'll be doing a full 7 days over there, and I'll be sharing this into the group here in just a moment. And we've got a post that's happening each and every day that has an assignment. And you'll want to comment under that assignment, one, because it's going to help you take action so that you can reap the bigger reward, which is really making sure that you are simplifying to scale. Bigger goal would be hitting those 10K months. However, if you are already hitting 10K months in your business, you might be scaling beyond that. I would find the majority of people, though, they are entrepreneurs and they are over efforting. They've got too many offers or not enough clarity around a core offer. And they're generally, most coaches and entrepreneurs are making around that 2K to 5K months. And it's sometimes a roller coaster. Sometimes it might be a zero month. And then you have a really great month, and that hope keeps dragging you along. But there's a level of inconsistency that's taking place. So if this is for you and you're like, I don't know how to get signed up, I just need to know more, this is for me, just type in below and I'll get you everything you need to make sure that you're fully in this and on track to do this mini 7 day training. And I say that because there's always more depth to do. And for some of you, this might be the first time really listening and doing this work. Maybe you've never done a course or a program before. Some others, you might have done a course or program before, and some of this is going to sound familiar. However, I will promise you that this in here is going to be equal to, if not better than, the last paid course that covers this. Okay, that I can that I can be sure of. Now, that being said, really here the biggest goal is not the monetary number, because we all might be at different numbers. The goal is consistent income and simplicity. I do not want you to feel like your business is so complicated that you're struggling each day knowing what you're supposed to be doing or what you're supposed to be promoting, or any of those things. You should have so much clarity, consistency, and confidence about your business that it feels effortlessly. That's my goal for you. So for you, it might be currently feeling like it's a lot of effort on the inside, though it's feeling like chaos. And I joke, but inside the Business Growth Lab, our paid membership, we talk about it, how every business owner, if not once a year, maybe once a month, thinks, why in the world do I do this to myself? Because being a business owner is not easy, but it can be. And so many of us, we're just so used to the struggle that it's hard to pause and take the time to declutter the chaos and simplify. But we all feel really good when our home's a hot mess and it gets cleaned up and organized and everything has its place and we know exactly where everything's at, versus when we're like, I know I've bought 3 of these things and I can't find any of them, right? Probably is feeling a little bit like that. So if you're juggling multiple offers, you're posting when you have time, or maybe you're posting all at one time and then you have a dry spell and then you post randomly at another time. If you're chasing new clients or you're sitting and just praying for new clients, if you feel like you're constantly starting back at zero, and honestly, like all of that, you're deep down just feeling purely exhausted, it is time for a shift. It is time to do things different, because you cannot keep doing things the way you are doing them, right? Can you keep functioning the way you're functioning right now for another 6 months? And if the answer is yes, then comfort might win. But do you want to? And that's the beauty of being in comfort, can be your worst enemy. Being at rock bottom makes you take action. You don't have to wait till you get to rock bottom. If you're on the trajectory of that right now, then stop yourself and start making the big shifts. So, things that I can see before is revenue feels like a roller coaster, big months, dry spells. If you're juggling too many offers or you're not making them consistently, if every client feels like a brand new chase and there's no simple sales system to just enroll them and put them through the systems, if you're stuck in reaction mode, you're launching when cash runs low and you're posting only when you have time. If time and energy are maxed out, but money's not reflecting the effort. The thought of hitting 10K feels like more hustle, more hours, like, oh my gosh, right? So that chaos looks unpredictable. We're overthinking, we're exhausted, and we're running in the business and not on the business. What these things that we're going to practice and we're going to do, and we're going to take the action each and every day for the next 7 days, it's going to allow us to shift so that we have one core offer that's the anchor of our business. Doesn't mean it's your only offer for those who that might scare. It means that you have one core offer. So at least there's this thing that's anchored, right? At least part of your income is reoccurring. So that means you'll have a membership, a retainer, a payment plan, something so the baseline's predictable. Then we're going to have weekly money moves. So you're going to have follow ups, reach outs, content batching, things that are going to constantly fill your pipeline so that you're not searching for clients, scavenging for them in survival mode. Then we're going to have launches and ads that are exciting add ons and not survival strategies. So we're going to be then looking at scaling, right? We have to simplify before we can scale. We feel spacious and focused, and your brain is not cluttered with tens, maybe tens of thousands of different shoulds. And then at least 10K consistent months that are repeatable, achievable, and they feel repeatable and achievable without the burnout. So, really, the calm really looks like clarity. It looks like repeatable systems with confidence, and that you're running the business instead of the business running you. Who's ready for that? Okay. So today we're starting with clarity because you cannot scale what you can't see. So day one, we need to realize what our income is, what it actually is, what's currently coming in. Even if it's unpredictable, we need to know what sources of income are coming in, and we need to do an assessment of those because it's not that you're not making money, right? For some of us, hopefully that's where we're at, but that struggle is that you need it consistently. Again, I mentioned you've probably had the large fluxes, and that's what's really keeping you going because you know you can do it, you know you've done it. So think of your income streams like buckets. Some are going to have steady drips, while others are going to have rainstorms. And we need to have a little bit of a mix of both. But again, we're going to focus on one core offer. Okay, so I'm going to consistently talk about like where we want the business to be versus what we need right now, because it's going to work in phases. So often we get caught up at seeing this end phase and we want to have all of it now. We want to do all the things. And then we end up dispersing our energy and we end up doing everything at half or lower energy. And the results are half or lower, and they're not what we need them to be. We need to do one thing at a time. And yes, you can be working on one core project where there might be two other soft projects in the background, but we can't let three things be taking all the focus. We need one core focus. Okay, so that's what today's exercise is about. So you're going to grab a notebook. You can have a digital notebook. You might have a spreadsheet. And we're going to take a moment to list all of your income sources. Now, as you list all your income sources, some of them might be side hustles, some of them might be a job, some of them might be a project that you've done that you've gotten income from. And so, really, I want you to look at not the past 5 years, not the past 3 years, but really past year or maybe two at the most. but looking at where you've made money. Now, if you want to list out all the other things too, feel free, go ahead. But really listing out what's your offers, what's your hustles, what's your side hustles, what's your streams. List them every single one of them. In the next column, I want you to write like what's the frequency of that? Is this every once in a while? Is it maybe once a year? Is this monthly? Is this weekly? How frequently is this money coming in? Okay. So we've got the item, the money, right? Hopefully, I don't think I specifically said that, but hopefully you got that. So the item, how much money it brings in. So if it's like, I get this, there's this course and it brings in like $27 on average, right? So the money, and then the frequency. What's the frequency? And the frequency can vary, right? Because this frequency might be when you're pushing it and when you're not pushing it. The frequency could be that you're just leaving it to chance, right? So I'll use my hypnotherapy as an example, right? So I don't often advertise it. A lot of times it's referrals, and I have a consistent referral basis that comes in, and I can get referrals from doctors and other therapists. And if I spend my time focusing on those referrals, then my frequency increases. Versus, I have learned in my business that if I sit and send DMs to people individually or if I run ads, I generally don't get a large return on investment. So you'll be able to start to see some of these things when you're looking at each item, going, what was working well, what wasn't. Not doing that today, but you'll start to think these things. Okay. All right. And then I really want you to, last column, put, is this consistent or unpredictable? So listing out so that you have a clear line of knowing what's consistent and what's unpredictable. Something that you have no control over. Maybe it's a random thing. Maybe it could be consistent, but it hasn't been. Then still put it as unpredictable. You might make a second column or a last column after that if you're like, you want to make a little note and say, this could be consistent if you feel the need. So, definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. As you go through these, looking at what you want to be your core offer, or maybe even creating a core offer, of these things of where money's coming in, which ones, and I encourage you to highlight or star next to them, are the ones that you love doing that feel like purpose for you, that you can feel the purpose behind them. Because we need to see this, and it might bring a lot of insight that all the things that you love doing are not bringing in income. Or there's one or two things on that list that are both income, consistent income, and purpose. And so, how can we start to move some of these other things off the plate or repackage them so that we're only talking about one core offer? All right. Now, for tomorrow, and this is literally just the activity for today, because that can take some time. It's going to take some thought, but I also don't want this to bog you down and create just another task for you. So start with this today. Every day is going to be small actions. Today was about awareness. It's about seeing truth. Tomorrow in day 2, we're going to take this clarity to choose our core offer. All right. So mentioned a few things. And that one offer is what really becomes the anchor in our business. It's what our business is known for. All right. And later in this week, we're going to work on building that reoccurring revenue, simplify follow-up systems, and then look at those weekly money moves as well. So by day 7, you'll not only have clarity, you'll have the simplicity, you'll have the repeatable plan for consistent income and a calmer business, right? So I'd love to hear, drop in the comments, what surprised you most about your money map? Was your income more spread out than you thought, or was it more concentrated in one or two offers? And allow that awareness to be your first step in simplifying, scaling, and stepping into those 10K months that you know, right? You're here. You know you're capable of it. And I know you are too. All right. I'll talk to you later.